it's John McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the John A. McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime, in as little as 15 hours, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Today, my friend Andy Falco joins me to talk about all things Facebook Live and to participate in an experiment, but a little bit more about the experiment in a few minutes. Now, for those of you who may not know Andy, him and I travel in the same marketing circles, having attended Mike Koenig's events for several years. And I know I started going in around 2011, and Andy was shortly thereafter. Andy has risen within the community and emerged as one of the leaders, and along with Everett O'Keefe, helps run The Retreat, a mastermind for a group of entrepreneurs. Now, Andy's used a variety of strategies to build and grow his dog training business to where he's become one of the foremost experts in the world in the area of canine training. Now, he focuses the majority of his time helping other entrepreneurs build and grow their business through the strategies that we've both learned over the past several years. Now, one of the latest strategies we both use is what you're watching right now, Facebook Live. Now, Andy started digging into the tech aspect, educating other business owners and entrepreneurs on how to use it for their business, the tech that's involved, testing new platforms and technology, and even speaking on the topic. Now, Andy has already generated himself revenue selling a digital course on the subject of Facebook Live and has been asked to speak in multiple locations and events as well. Myself, I'm using Facebook Live as one part of my overall strategy to accelerate my authority in the area of being a business and marketing advisor, coach, and consultant, specializing in the power of leverage and repurposing. During my show, I interview a variety of business owners, entrepreneurs, authors, experts, and speakers, getting exposed to a wider audience to help build and grow my brand, not only as a business and marketing advisor and consultant, but also as an authority on the subject and strategy behind Facebook Live. Now, I've recently dissected my very own show, making the show flow script and the video of the show where I discuss each segment available to others to use as a model when they go to put their own show together. Now, I'm also currently being sought out and hired to strategize, structure, create, and produce other people's Facebook Live show to give them a professional quality show without having to rent a professional studio or invest and learn the software or technology that's involved. So don't go away, because when I return, I'm going to be joined by my guest and friend today, Andy Falco, as we chat about all things Facebook Live and hopefully not blow up the Facebook or the internet with our experiment. So stick around. We'll be back in just a second. Hey, thanks for joining me on today's show, Business Strategies to Accelerate Your Authority, where we talk with successful entrepreneurs about strategies they're using and working extremely well to accelerate their authority. You might want to hold on to something tight and put on your safety goggles, because we have no idea what's going to happen today. It could be like crossing streams in Ghostbusters for all we know. We may shut down Facebook, the internet, or maybe even stop the election in the US. We don't know what's going to happen. All I know is my guest today, Andy Falco, and we're going to chat about all things Facebook Live and run an experiment at the same time. Now, Andy Falco is a 6-time #1 best-selling author. After 24-year career as a police officer for the city of Anaheim, Andy created one of the most successful dog training companies in the United States, Falco Canine Academy. Now, Andy has increased his platform and has now appeared on every major network, creating his own TV shows on social networks, and is in the production stages of 2 shows on major TV networks. Now, Andy now teaches others how to do the same thing with their life and their business. The Zero to Hero School is administered in either a private coaching program or through a very effective online training program. And lastly, Andy is partner in a mastermind group called The Masters that has 35 active and successful members. Now, he helps business owners who are stuck with a great story, who are struggling and with getting noticed and being able to monetize their message, product, or service. Andy works with his clients and teaches them that their story will help elevate them to new heights and build their authority in their market and the niche. So everybody give Andy some likes, some love, shares, and a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for our guest today on the John A. McCabe Show, Andy Falco. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you very much. This is really exciting. I'm a little nervous. I'm sweating.
Well, for those of you who are joining me on the John A. McCabe Show, and of course on Andy's Facebook Live TV, we're running an experiment today. We both run Facebook Live shows, and what we're trying to do is run our individual shows at the exact same time. So if you're watching Andy's show, you don't see me appearing on your camera, but you're hearing me. And if you're watching my show, the John A. McCabe Show, Andy appears in the big screen TV just off to my left hand shoulder. And if any guests come on Andy's show, they'll pop up, and we'll be able to have a truly interactive show with hopefully a large audience. Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting how we can do this, and the possibilities of the internet is just constantly surprising me, and that's one of the things that when I do give speeches and talk to large groups of people is that everybody that's in that audience has the potential of starting their own TV show now and doing incredible things that when I was a kid, I still had the black and white TV with the coat hanger as the antenna that we'd bend around and then have to hold it just so we could watch Muhammad Ali boxing Joe Frazier. I remember that. That's the one thing I remember holding that. And from where we've gone from then to what we can do now, and now we can simulcast on 2 separate shows at the same time, is amazing to me.
Yeah, sometimes I remember back then too, where you actually had to get up to change the channel and the volume, change between the 2 or 3 channels you had. It wasn't that many, to now, being able to have your own show. And basically with Facebook Live, anybody with a cell phone now can produce your own TV show.
Yeah, and then if you have a platform that you just want to get out the message that you're an authority in whatever that is, whatever that niche is, it is possible. It is possible to create any type of show, a talk show like we're doing right now, a comedy show. I know that Molly Mahoney, she often goes live while she's singing on stage with her trio. I have other people that are talking about LinkedIn and what their show is all about LinkedIn. And so whatever that topic is, you can create a show to support it and to create your authority and your platform in that industry. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. And I noticed that Nobby just joined us. I see him on my Facebook Live now. I don't know if he's on my show or I think he's he's on your show, because I'm watching on my I guess way too many computer screens going on here. On my phone is your stream. On my computer ahead of me is my stream. So I think Nobby's on your show. So Nobby, maybe you can jump on into Andy's blue jeans, and maybe we can get you on the show.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I was going to say, Nobby, I was going to call him a traitor for going to your show instead of mine.
No, he's on your show.
Yeah, Mark Weisenberger, though, he's my student, and he's on your show. So this is what I was worried about. This is what I was all nervous about. This kind of stuff. That
Andy, that's a scarcity mindset. We all have an abundance mindset.
How dare he? How Mark is? Oh, whatever, Mark. Hey, I wanted to talk about something really quick.
Sure.
2 things. And you brought up the Masters in my introduction, and I want to just give an announcement out that we just announced where we're going to be having that. It's in Victoria, in your neck of the woods in Canada. Well, not Vancouver, but in Canada.
No, Victoria is beautiful.
It's going to be so awesome. It's in May. We have a couple openings for new members, and so they're going to have to apply. So they can just go to the Masters Facebook page. It's called The Masters, and let us know if they want us to send them one of the applications. But I would just, when you mentioned it, it just made me so excited, because where we are going to be is on this lake at this huge house where we're going to have all of our meetings and our hot seats. And then we have some extracurricular activities that we have planned while we're there that are always a blast. We were in Carmel. So we were in Carmel for our last mastermind retreat, and we went out whale watching, and we literally had a whale performing for us for a good 45 minutes, jumping out of the water, flapping one of its flippers, and then it would go for this dive. It would lift up its tail and it would slap its tail on the water, and it did that for 45 minutes. It was incredible. Not to mention the things that we talked about, and the reason I bring it up now is because we're going to go deep into Facebook Live and live streaming and creating your own TV show at this retreat. And so you will, if you attend, you will come away with everything you need to start your own TV show, because we're going to tell you how to do it and help you with the process of creating it. But that's in May of next year, the Masters Mastermind Retreat. It's going to be awesome.
So it's May of next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Oh, now Nobby switched over to your side.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
He says he has stereo way too much. He doesn't know which channel to watch. But
right. So can I ask a question
sure.
of you? Or I don't want to throw off whatever you have planned. This was John's idea. So I'm making sure that John gets all first shot at everything, but I just already took something away. What platform do you use to create what it is that you have? What tools are you using? What third-party applications are you using to create that look? Because when I see you on the camera, there's that green screen thing, and so I just want to know what you're using to create the look that you have. Yeah,
good question. So in my studio, I have 4 different sets. And the set that I use the majority of the time, especially for the John A. McCabe show, is a green screen set that I then have a virtual set that looks like a newscaster set, where I have a desk in front of me and a big screen TV over to my left-hand shoulder, and all of my guests or what I'm talking about topics will appear in that big screen TV. So I'm running through Wirecast. Now Wirecast allows me to have multiple feeds, so I can have the camera from, I have a camcorder connected through my my Ultra Studio mini recorder from Blackmagic Design that's pumping into my my MacBook Pro. I also have the ability to, if I wanted to connect like a Logitech USB camera into my MacBook as well if I wanted to. And I have the ability, I have two other computers around me that I'm connected via Ethernet cable through a hub. So I have set up like a desktop producer on each of those computers. So I can actually say run a PowerPoint on one of those computers, and instead of running it on my computer, which Wirecast really takes a lot of resources. So I try to do as much stuff on other computers as possible and just bring the feed into the stream. So that's what I try to do if I'm, doing any, bringing up any URLs, PowerPoints, things like that. I'm running it through a different computer and then just bringing that feed into my wire stream. So I could have multiple feeds going at the same time, all within the same system. So the main thing I'm using the Blackmagic Design mini recorder connected to my camcorder, which pumps into my MacBook Pro, and I'm using Wirecast Pro 7.2. That allows the with the Wirecast Pro 7.2, it enables you to stream to multiple streams. However, you can only stream, if you want to stream to Facebook, that's the only stream that you can send out. But if you're not doing Facebook, you can send it to multiple streams at the same time, like your YouTube Live and other channels at the same time. Just unfortunately, with the terms of service with Facebook, I don't think they allow you to stream to other sites at the exact same time because they want unique content.
Right. So what you just all talked about, all that stuff that came out of your mouth just a minute ago, that sounds very complicated. How hard or easy is it for somebody that really wants to run their other business? So if they have a fitness company and they want to do a Facebook Live, do they need all that stuff to create a look like you have? Are they going to have to go to school to learn how to be a techie in order to get all that stuff working?
It really depends on their level of techiness. I don't profess to be, I'm not technologically challenged for most things, so it's not really complicated for me, but I work with a lot of people. Like, for example, one of my private clients, we did a book launch last week, and she's a little bit more technologically challenged than I am. So for her to do something like this, I don't know that she would ever get to this level. So to produce a show like this, I'm not sure how someone could produce a show that looks like mine without actually having, the actual set, being able to bring in graphics, bring in other feeds. I don't know of another system other than Wirecast that enables you to do that. You may know because you're digging into a lot of these different things, but so there is a level of technology that a person has to understand at least some level of technology to be able to use some of this stuff. So this is probably not for the beginner to get a show to the production value, I'll say, of my show, for example, where I have multiple things going on at the same time, which is why people reach out to me and hire me to produce their show. So tomorrow I'm producing a show for a client in Arizona. I live in Edmonton, Alberta. So it'll be her show and all of her graphics, and she will be the only one on the camera, but I will be running the show from here and feeding in all the graphics, the intros, the outros, whatever it is that she needs, because she doesn't have the time or even the inclination to want to learn how to use this software or invest in the software and the hardware that goes along with it. But she wants that level of a show. Something a little bit more than just using, the camcorder off or your Logitech off your camera, off your streaming into your Facebook. Yeah. She wants the graphics and the fancy stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I backed up my camera so I can show the audience a more simplified version of what it is that you're talking about. And of course, I just have my laptop here, so that's where all of my programs are that I'm running through. I have my Yeti mic. It's just simply plugged into the side of my computer. And then the webcam that I'm using is that Logitech that you mentioned, and it's plugged over here on the other side of my computer, right there. And so those are the only two tools I have right now that are plugged in. And then the third-party application is Mimo Live. And I think on my end, I can share the screen so you can see it. Sometimes I'm not sure that it will allow me to do that. If I use Blue Jeans, it should allow me to do it. So I just want to make sure.
At the same time, Andy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in another shot right now. And this is the raw shot of me actually live. So, there's no virtual set going to be going on. It's just me sitting in front of a green screen. So I'm actually going to put that in right now. Now, I don't know. Okay, so you're still there. I was just, I see. So we're looking at I was just looking in the TV in my shot, and you're just looking at your inside of your screen there. So I was
going to show just by clicking that button, and the opening graphic is this button here. When I click on that, my picture goes away, and that goes on over it. And there's actually music playing. I know you can't hear it right now because I have it muted. And so you can add all kinds of graphics. If I hit on this plus sign, all these different behaviors in Mimo Live will allow me to do whatever it is almost that I want to do. Weather forecast, a weather map.
Does it give you the chroma key ability?
Yep, chroma key. Picture in picture I can put in there. I can put a playlist visualizer, portrait placer. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do. I can actually, if I plug my phone in, you can actually see my phone by adding this little plug in there. Right. And so Mimo Live allows you to do that, and you don't have to be technically a technical genius. Yeah,
so it appears that they're doing the similar functionality. With Wirecast, I can connect my phone as well as another stream, so I can do that. One thing Nobby says on my stream is he has trouble turning on the kettle, so there's, let alone getting involved in Wirecast is probably not something that Nobby's going to get into.
Right. Yeah, there are those folks, but there's the most simple Facebook Live show that you can produce is just setting your iPhone or your Android up on a tripod and connect an iRig microphone to it so that you can have a little bit of distance. Now, Molly Mahoney, she loves being close to the camera, so she actually can. Yeah, but that works for her, right? That's
Yeah.
her personality, and I think people love that they have that connection with her. I don't want to be that close because of, I don't want to be that close. I never know what's going on under my nose or something like that.
Yeah.
So I want to beat a little bit of distance. So you can have an iRig mic just plugged into your computer. You can also have a lav that connects directly to your phone, and then onto your lapel so that your sound is good. Remember, everybody that's watching, sound is almost more important than the video that's actually playing.
True.
Sound is almost more important than the video. I'm going to say that twice.
Yeah.
So make sure that your sound is good, because if your sound is bad, no matter how good your picture is, people aren't going to stick around because it drives people crazy.
Yeah, when I first started doing this show, I was using a wireless lapel mic, and after I was watched the show, I noticed that the audio just wasn't near the quality. Then I started using my Yeti mic, which I had for a long time, and the quality is just night and day compared to that wireless lapel mic.
So here with these settings, as you see me bring the picture in closer, what I choose not to show is I only want the mic and not all the other stuff, because for me that can be distracting.
Yeah.
And again, remember, those of you that are watching my show, and if anybody on John's show is wondering why I have such a plain background, I just moved into a brand new studio, and this is what I have to start with. So this is a blank canvas that we are going to create something here, and then I have another room where I'm going to have my green screen, just like John does. And a different look for that particular part of the studio. So I got this part, which is I'm going to probably make it more of like 2 chairs, a table, interview type style, and that kind of stuff in this room. And then in the other room is going to be the green screen and other stuff that's going to be going on over there. So the reason for the blank canvas is because I'm just starting. And if you tune into my show, the Facebook Live TV show, you're going to see the process and things I'm going to talk about and what I'm doing and getting your opinion. So if you want to be brought along that process, then make sure and subscribe to the Facebook Live TV show.
Yeah, and so Andy, you have you've already created sort of a course, right, for people just getting started in Facebook Live. And could you just, I haven't gone through the course. Just share with me what is in the course. Is it the technology? Is it the mindsets, or what do you touch on inside that course?
All of that. So it's Facebook Live. There's no the. So it's just FacebookLiveTVShow.com. That'll take you to the page, and it'll talk a little bit more about what's inside. But there's 2. For the price of 1, you get 2 trainings. The first training is just only using your cell phone, your mobile phone, for Facebook Live, creating your own TV show using Facebook Live. And it's just the steps to everything from creating your fan page to how to use the phone, how to get connected, all that kind of stuff, and things you need to keep in mind as you're doing it, including sound and all that kind of stuff. So that's in the first training. That's the basic. And then I have the elite program, where then we go to the computer and you broadcast using your computer, and I talk about everything. Again, how to connect to the internet using OBS, Mimo Live, and Blue Jeans. Right now I'm going to be experimenting with another one that just came on board. And I forgot the name of it, Me Live or something like that.
Okay.
Do you remember? Do you know the name of it? Molly
No.
uses it.
No, I don't. I just I haven't got into a lot of the different platforms. I just stick. I figured this one out, and I just stick with what I know. But I watch yours, and I just let you sort of do all the heavy lifting and figure it all out. And then if I see something I like, then I'll sort of jump in. But I'll just let somebody else do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, there's something like 32 videos that I have in there, so it shows you everything, how to get the programs like OBS, which is free. So OBS, how you download it, to how you set it up, how to use the tools in there, how do you get connected to Facebook Live. I have each video breaks it down to those small components, right? So you don't have to watch an hour of video to learn all that stuff. It's one component at a time, right? And you just practice. I talk about practicing. I talk about how to make sure that your voice is clear, so that when you begin talking, you don't have a frog in your throat and you have to keep clearing your throat. I talk about even how you need to exercise to prepare. It's good for you to prepare because it clears your mind, gets you ready, gives you some energy when you get started with your show. And then it talks about camera placement and about what your background should look like. and all the way to a show flow, which we don't have necessarily today because we came up with this at the last minute. Yeah. But a show flow is something that's needed to make sure that you cover all the points that are interesting and relevant to what it is you're talking about. I also talk about equipment, what equipment you need, everything from the tripods to the cameras to the lighting to the microphones and what you need to look for and be aware of. And I think there's more, but Molly is one of my students, and I'm going to be speaking in San Diego at an event coming up, and she's going to be one of my people that I talk about that in the last 3 months since she's been through my program, she's generated $42,000 worth of income. Nice. Using the strategies that we have in the show. So I'm very proud of her because
what's her product or service?
Her thing is performance, and I want to make sure and get it right. The Pampered Performer is the name of her her page. Hold on, let me just make sure and find. I want to make sure and get it right.
I don't know if Mahoney. I don't know if you caught last Thursday's show. I actually dissected my show, so I actually went through the entire show flow as well as the psychology behind a lot of the things and sort of a bigger picture overview of what the show is actually trying to accomplish in order to the journey that I take people on throughout the show, obviously, so at the end there's a call to action or trying to get people to commit to doing something, whether it be download that free report or contact my guest for more information on their products or services. So I dissected my actual show, and the show was me talking about the dissection of every single segment of the show and the purpose as to why I do that, what its purpose is, some of the psychology behind it when it comes to the strategy of business and marketing. And the structure as well.
Yep. So here's Molly Mahoney. She's the prepared. I said pampered. I knew I was getting it wrong. It didn't sound right. The prepared performer. Okay. And so she teaches people how to prepare themselves to give a performance on camera or on stage when they're speaking. And it's that is her coaching program, and helps people. She's an actress. She's a singer. And she's in theater, and so she's doing all that. So here's what I'm talking about: how she likes to be in, right there in front of the camera, and that is her thing, and she can pull it off. I can't. I'm not as pretty as she is, and so she blows it out of the water. And like I said, in the last 3 months, she's just been doing fantastic. And her and I have stayed connected, and she's let me know what's happening with her. But the Prepared Performer on Facebook, if you go there and need some assistance on how to get better in front of a camera. That's what she does, and she's Excellent. Fantastic. Yep.
Yeah, so, somebody that's actually going to use this for their business, I mean, there's some great ways that they can incorporate their business. I mean, they obviously have to understand who their clients are, who their ideal target market is, and have a good idea how to actually put a show together. The last thing you want to do is just turn on the camera. Well, it's not the last thing. The last thing you want to do is nothing. The second to the last thing is just turn on the camera and have no clear direction or goal or purpose in mind when it comes to trying to promote your product, your service, or your business. And you don't want to just get on there and say, buy my shit.
Yeah. And that's kind of what happens on Periscope. If you go on Periscope and just click on one of the videos that are playing, it's just some person in their bedroom just babbling about crap. And there's an audience for it, apparently, because people watch it. But if you're a hot girl, then that's an audience too, right? And so you, John, and I, we don't have that luxury.
No.
We actually have to have some content.
Yeah, we have to. We provide a lot of value because we have to make up for our shortfalls.
Right. Yeah, that was a lot of stuff. Hey, can we unmute your camera just for one moment, just so people can see why we have your camera muted, at least on your show. So there's John on my show. You can see him.
Yeah, I just taken it off. So in the big screen, it's still you. You're the main person, and I'm up in the top right-hand corner in the feed that I'm actually bringing into my TV. So. Actually, this isn't bad, Andy, because I just didn't want to be showing up on your on the big screen TV beside me and take away from you. But actually, this shot works really well because you don't leave my screen. you're still
Right.
the person in the big screen on my side, and you see me. You're looking through my laptop camera as opposed to. I know I shouldn't point the camera. My camcorder ahead of me is what people are watching me on my show through.
Yeah, well, let me show them what you're talking about. So I'm going to go to active speaker,
Okay.
and so our side by side will go away in just a minute on the live feed. And so this is what will happen. So when John talks, he will be the primary. So as long as I'm talking, I'm the primary person you see. And then when John talks, like he's going to talk right now, he will become the primary on the camera.
Okay, so we're just going to test this to see if I actually show up or on my big screen to my left, or if Andy is still in the picture. And right now, Andy is still in the picture. I know I can see that I just appeared in as the primary speaker on Andy's show, but on my show, Andy, you're still the only person that's in the shot. So I must have a different link. I must have like the you know why, Andy? Because I have the behind the scenes link. I'm not looking at the primary view that everyone else is. So that's something that we just have to make note of, is as long as I'm looking at the behind the scene, like inside of Blue Jeans itself, then you appear on the big screen and I appear to your audience on the main screen.
Yeah, I tried to tell you that. You didn't hear me?
No, I didn't know. I didn't understand what you were saying, so sorry. But thanks for testing it out anyway. So now we know it actually works.
You know, I've been using Blue Jeans ever since it launched. You would think that I would have thought of that. Well, that's why we do these experiments, right?
That's right. So now we know for future reference that if I ever want to do an event with somebody that has Blue Jeans and they have other people on the show, that I can actually have multiple participants on at the same time. And it depends if I actually want to appear on the main screen, or I would have to go to the other feed if I wanted different people to appear. Because if you have guests on, the way I have it set up on my side right now, I would not be able to see anybody else that comes on the screen. So I would actually, on my side, I'll get a little techie right now, I would have to bring in a separate feed from the computer that shows the feed that everybody else sees just as a participant watching the show. So where, the shot keeps changing depending upon whoever or however Andy controls it. So if if a guest comes on, then I would have to switch shots on my end so that person is coming on the big screen and not just Andy all the time.
Yep. So on my side, on Blue Jeans, if you're watching my show, you can see that I had it once where it was just the person speaking. Then there was no other image on the screen. And then the second one's called Active Presence, where it's the person speaking, and then underneath is a thumbnail of the person who's standing by. And that could be one person or up to 100 people in Blue Jeans. And you just scroll through them. You can't see all 100 at the same time, but you'll see something like 5 or 6, I think it is. Anyway, and now what I've done is now I have a side-by-side. So there's 3 settings on Blue Jeans. Now, what John was talking about is that on my app for Blue Jeans, we don't see any of that happening. I just have the selections and I can make them active, but that doesn't change what I see in the app itself when I'm running a show. Right. It only shows up with you guys on the broadcast that's being transmitted out using this platform. So that's kind of hopefully that.
And I apologize to your viewers for not for 2 things. One, not looking at them, because I have to look at my camera, which is above the camera that I'm using, that is actually viewing me for your show. And the second thing is, it's never appropriate to have the camera looking up at you or you looking down at the camera. So technically my laptop should be at eye level where my other camera is. So I apologize for not looking at you, and 2, you having to look up at me and me down at you if I'm actually looking at the camera. So that's
well, it's a great view of your fuchsia shirt.
No, this is
it's purple.
Lavender.
Purple.
This is lavender.
Lavender. I'm sorry. Lavender. I don't even know what fuchsia is.
Fuchsia is that pinkish one that I wear on a regular basis to get Andy Lockwood going.
Where is Andy today? Is he on your show?
No, must be too busy with the election. But he also had a show this morning. They had a college show this morning. So they were probably busy with that. And then, I don't know, it's election day in the U.S. I don't know where everybody is. Hopefully out voting.
So let's talk about a little bit about your strategy and what you're doing with your show. So you're broadcasting almost every day. And so if you can encapsulate what is your strategy in the way that you've set up the series of shows that you do?
Okay, so the really big picture is I'm moving. I've been a business coach, consultant since 2004. In 2009, I get into real estate investing, and I became very good at it using a lot of business and marketing strategies. However, when you do real estate investing, even though real estate investing is a product or a service just like any other business, but people see you within the real estate investing business, people see you as just a real estate investor, and as entrepreneurs, they see you as just a real estate investor, not a entrepreneur or a business person. For whatever reason, they don't feel that that real estate investing is entrepreneurship or a business. So I made the decision that I wanted to get back into coaching or consulting or advising with businesses and entrepreneurs. What I used to advise people on is production and streamlining operations, project management methodology. That's what I did prior to taking a lot of these marketing courses. Now, I want to reinvent myself in the advising and coaching position, but instead of doing that, I want to actually focus on the marketing aspect and leveraging. I did a very good job in a very short period of time, accelerating my authority using all of these strategies that Mike taught us over the several years. That's how I built and grew my real estate investment business. So I know it works. So now I'm actually doing it for myself as, an entrepreneur, advisor, business coach, consultant, whatever you want to call it. So I knew that I actually had to accelerate my authority. And one of the fastest ways to do that, well, several ways to do that, are to become a #1 best-selling author, as we know, using Facebook Live as a strategy, doing podcasting is a great way to do it. So I thought to myself, well, I want to do everything. Okay, so I'm going to do everything all at the same time. But I don't want to actually do all the work to do everything at the same time. So it's all about repurposing. So my master plan or my authority acceleration formula is to do the Facebook Live show consistently, regularly, so that for every 1 hour show I do, I'm going to commit to 10 hours of engagement and distribution of that content, and I'm going to do it consistently for over 100 days. So I've fallen behind in the engagement and the distribution because I'm so busy with the show. But the show will go until the end of November, which is almost my 100 days worth of content. So that'll give me just about 70 hours of content. So during my hiatus of December and January, so every show, I'll just back up, every 1 hour show I do gets transcribed. The show gets edited. I have it pieced down to being between 5 and 7 different segments, so video clips. That's one of the reasons why when I do my show, I keep reintroducing the guest, is to start a new clip. So it's all for repurposing. So the show is to brand myself, to use that one piece of content for so many different things for repurposing. And by the end of November, I'll have enough content that I'm actually going to create 5 different books, 1 book for each show. Because Monday I talk specifically real estate investing. Tuesday I talk about, there's that about Andy. I talk specifically on business strategies. Wednesday is the entrepreneur's journey. Thursday is hot seat coaching or a very specific topic around business and entrepreneurship. And Friday I talk about just about anything. So there'll be enough content to have between 10 and 15 chapters for each book, and there'll be 5 different books. named, the Johnny McCabe Show, real estate investing episodes. So from that, I will be I'll push all 5 of those to a #1 best-selling author. Every episode is getting edited to be a video podcast as well as an audio podcast. There's at least 2 blog articles being written about every single episode, and there's anywhere from 4 to 20 different social posts being created for every single episode, as well as the 5 to 7 video clips. So after the final episode in November, every day I'll be putting in 6-8 hours a day, just doing nothing but distributing and engaging in the content I've created to help grow my presence and my brand and my authority that much larger. And it all started with this Facebook Live show. So I didn't want to, write a book, and I didn't want to actually do a podcast, and I didn't want to create all of these blogs and all this stuff. I just wanted to do one thing, and I wanted to be able to take that one thing that I do and repurpose it for everything else. And that's my Authority Acceleration Program. So big picture, that's why I'm doing all these shows. That's why I'm structuring every show very specifically. And, trying to get calls to action within each show, trying to build up clients along the way. Does that answer your question? It's a high level view of a lot of stuff going on.
I'm gonna have to go watch the replay and take notes. That's a lot of stuff. I like it. I really like what you're doing. The repurposing the shows is the greatest strategy ever, because you can do so many things with what it is that we're creating. I actually put the recordings in the membership site that we just talked about, the Facebook Live TV Show Elite program, because I've had Will Irish, Andrew Lane, Nicolette, who is the Queen of Canva, and all that stuff is being repurposed in the training program because the content was so rich with information.
So
can I ask you a question? I'll have it transcribed. Yeah.
Are you removing them from like Facebook and YouTube and all of that? Those episodes, are you only putting those in? Because that's the question I'm asking myself right now, because I have everything gets uploaded to YouTube, and but some of the stuff is some really good stuff, like dissecting my show last Thursday. I actually want to take it, I want to cut it all up, and actually that can either be a program, but do I just take it off the internet everywhere else if I'm going to start repurposing? So is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm leaving it right now, and I've had that battle in my brain whether I should delete the programs once I get them downloaded and then repurposed. But I have the other thought that I want to make sure that there's value on my Facebook page too. So for the person that really wants to search for it and go down and look at all the videos and try to find them, which I don't think a lot of people do. Once it gets out, below the fold, I'm not sure that a lot of people go that far down to look at stuff that they don't know is there, right? If they're visiting Facebook Live for the first time, some of them, maybe the more adventurous type may scroll down to see what's happened in the past. But a lot of people don't go below a fold, and so it's one of those things I waver back and forth. I at some point I know that I'll delete some of the old content because things change so rapidly. I don't want there to be something out there that's not relevant any longer, and so I will delete probably as things begin to change in Facebook, because they do change pretty rapidly.
And my thought process around it for myself is that with all these full episodes and then chopping each one up into 5 or 7 pieces and then distributing, and I'll be using that on Facebook Live, on a consistent, persistent basis, sending out, anywhere from 1 to 4 different segments, clips out of shows every single day moving forward after the show finishes in November. So I'm going to have so much content in the show page, as well as in YouTube, as well as on my Facebook page, that someone's really going to have to look really, really hard to find the full episodes, and to be able to piece things together where yourself that, I know I talked about that piece and I talked about that piece in a different show, we can actually take those pieces and logically put them together in a membership area, so somebody can actually go through it logically and with some sort of strategy all at once, as opposed to going out and trying to find it in the 1,000 different video clips that I have running, floating around the internet world.
Yeah, there's a couple strategies I'm going to be speaking. I have three strategies that I like to use for building content, and just one that I think that anybody can do this one strategy that's been very powerful on my dog training side of things, on my dog training business.
Right.
And that's walking around a trade show and visiting the vendors and talking to them about their products.
Interviewing
and
them.
You can do that with your iPhone and a wired or wireless mic. And it has been fantastic on the dog training side of things, because you are going to get in somebody else's booth. They're more than happy to talk about their product. It provides content that the people on your page will want to see, right? Because especially dogs, if it's about dogs, people are passionate about their dogs. Yeah. So I'll go to a dog food company and say, let's talk about your food and why you think it's the best food on the planet, and what ingredients you have in there, and how you produce it, and how you came up with the formulation, and all that kind of stuff. And then while I'm there, I have my assistant get them to share our live feed to the company's Facebook page,
right?
So that both the live feed and then the replay is on their Facebook feed. So now I'm in front of their audience, and that's really the key, is that you want to spread out your word and your authority. And mine is the interviewer and dog trainer. And I mentioned tons of time Falco Canine Academy, and dog training, and reference Falco Canine Academy, and I'm doing it on their Facebook page. And then I go to the next one. Next one, it's dog shampoo. Paul Mitchell has dog shampoo, and they're at this trade show that I was at. And I'm now, same thing. She goes, okay, to one of their assistants, hey, we want to share this on your Facebook page, and then share it on their Facebook page. And now I'm live, and they have 50 Facebook pages. They have one for each state. So she wasn't able to do all 50, but they eventually shared it on all 50 of their Facebook pages. Nice. In every state that they have one. So I think that's a very powerful strategy, and getting past the nerves is the biggest thing. So I am actually, I was born shy, and it's taken a while for me to get to the point where I can kind of feel a little bit more comfortable in walking up to somebody and saying, hey, would you like to be on Falco Canine's Dog Talk Show, or the Healthy Dog Network, and feel that comfort of going there and acting as if I actually have a real TV show, which this can now be considered a real TV show. But in the beginning, it wasn't that easy, right? I felt, it's just an internet-based Facebook thing. And but walking up and then having the camera or my phone on a tripod and the microphone with a little square thing on it, and then I have my assistant who goes and breaks the news that they're going to be interviewed on this new TV show. And as you get going, it gets easier and easier. And then I've had people actually chase me down walking down an aisle at a trade show and say, hey, how come you're not interviewing us? We noticed that you're interviewing everybody around us, but you're not interviewing us. Because there's some that for me is not interesting. I'm not into the, the diamonds on the collar type of vendor, but sometimes they'll chase me down, or the poodle groomer that makes the dogs pink and purple. I don't do that. But it's a powerful strategy, and there's a trade show for everything, right? There's real estate trade shows. There's doctor trade shows. There's internet hacking trade shows, and it's very, very powerful. And I actually go there now as press. I apply as press, and they want the press there, and they give me a press pass. And I walk in and go behind the scenes, and there's a press room that you get to go in and kind of keep your equipment and even do interviews if you want to do them inside the press room. And it's an easier than you think strategy that's very powerful and gets you in front of their audience. And some of those Facebook pages have millions of people in their Facebook pages.
Yeah, so, definitely getting connected with, when you're searching people out. I know one of the strategies I used when I was trying to get people on the show at the very beginning is I would go through all my friends list and find the people that had the largest number of friends, because I'm looking for influencers and people that have I can leverage off of the number of people that they actually know, in hopes that more people will see the show and it'll grow quicker. That was one of the strategies, and it's very similar to what you were doing, right? Finding people that have, or businesses that actually have large following. And I know, do you know Keith Shannon from Ontario? He had the podcast show. So he's actually he's going to be restarting his podcast show, but not as the expert authority. He's actually going to be doing it with local businesses and actually going in and interviewing, working with local businesses as opposed to, entrepreneurs all over the world. He's just going to go into their place of business and do just what you were talking about. Instead of doing it at a trade show, he's actually doing it with the business owners. And so that will actually promote, because Keith has a carpet business, a local carpet business, and that's just one way for him to get more exposure for his carpet business by starting that podcast up again and working with other entrepreneurs and local businesses talking about their business.
Yep. And if you're a coach, this Super Zoo was just, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 months ago. So it was after Facebook Live started. So it's only been, like I said, 4 or 5 months. So I'm in Vegas. I'm here going to these vendors. And that's where you realize how few people, if you're a coach that's teaching how to do marketing and social media or write their own book or that kind of stuff, this is where you're going to really notice how few entrepreneurs know anything. I'm saying anything about social media, about video, about writing a book, and the power of having a lead magnet, how to repurpose their content. They know nothing. Remember, these people have spent all of their time creating their product, right? And putting time into developing the product and the packaging and all that kind of stuff. But they don't have the knowledge or the information that they need to be successful in social media. So by doing your interview and showing them Facebook Live and the power of using Facebook Live to do an interview show, for instance, you can talk to them about what they can do within their own product and their own corporation or company. And now you have a coaching client because you're able to show them that. So I think that's very powerful. Nabi just mentioned that JT Ippolito. I don't know, John, if you follow JT at all.
Yeah, I know who
but he runs in our circles. But he does a lot of trade shows, and I've noticed that too. Because Vegas is the mecca of trade shows, everything there. And he walks around and does that. He interviews people there at all those trade shows.
Yeah, and I reached out to JT to be on the show. Actually, I haven't heard back from him, but if he's watching,
he's too busy doing trade shows.
Yeah, he's too busy doing trade shows. But I see Alan Brown has joined us. He said Alan says this is a new TV. Alan has Crusher TV, for those who don't know, and Alan's actually going to be a guest on my show tomorrow. Talking about his
I'm way more
journey.
comfortable calling this an actual a TV show. It's like, this is, like you said, it is TV. I've had people, Melody Rush one time when I was on, she said she's watching it on her TV through her Apple TV. And so she goes, we're watching it on our TV. We're watching you on TV right now. So this really is a new TV. Great for him bringing that up.
Yeah, for sure. I think traditional cable's going by the wayside. I don't even have traditional cable. I get if I want to watch a show, I just stream it live. There's websites where you can stream it live. I pay a few bucks, a month, and I can get all the TV shows I want if I want to watch TV, or there's Netflix or all those other things. So I think the typical cable's going by the wayside. I have I have some big screen TVs that I bought purposely for the show, and they're all connected to computers. So if I ever want to watch TV, I just turn something on the computer, whether it be YouTube or Facebook Live or whatever, and I just watch it on the TV.
Yep. So I have 5 kids, and when they're all here, and it's TV time, because we kind of regulate when their TV time is. They all, obviously, because they're different ages, want to watch different things. Yeah. So I got one watching TV on my phone, one watching TV on my iPad, one watching TV through Apple TV on the TV, and then I have my iMac, which is in my office, and the other one's on that TV, or that computer watching TV. So it's the new TV. So what we're doing is we are. What did somebody call me the other day? Forgot. What is it? What is it when you're one of the
you're
beginners,
the pioneer?
Huh?
You're the
pioneer. Yeah, I said you're the pioneer in this new Facebook Live TV show stuff, and I just kind of laughed. I've never really think that's true, but we're trying to get the word out that this is where you need to be, and you need to get started now.
So how specifically? I'll ask a question for my show. How specifically have you transitioned from just doing your live show to actually getting on stage to talk about Facebook Live. So what happened to get you to that point?
Well, the day that Facebook Live came out, it's one of those few times that I've actually took action at the moment something started, right? Usually I kind of wait around to see what's going to happen. But I just had this feeling since Facebook Live or Facebook, it was so powerful and Facebook ads are so powerful to target your audience that Facebook Live would be something that needed to be looked into and taken seriously. So right away, I began putting together that training site. And putting videos up and that kind of stuff. And within 4 days, I had probably 20 videos already created. I actually went to Vegas, rented or went to my timeshare out there and sat in that room and for 3 days did nothing but videos. I don't know if you're not in the program, but when you're in the program, you can see I'm in this new location and that's my timeshare. Creating the videos on how to use some of that because I feel that I have to be away from everything in order to do something that fast. So created the membership site. Once I created the membership site, then I started kind of, exploring in some of the other Facebook pages and groups and things like that. And lucky enough, the plan lined up that an opportunity just got posted. Somebody said they needed a speaker for the social media conference in San Diego, and her name's Eva. And Eva posted, "Hey, I need a speaker." I didn't know who Eva was, and I said, "Hey, Eva, I'm an expert in Facebook Live and helping people create their own TV show using Facebook." And she goes, "Oh, well, give me some more information." So I sent her a little bit more information. I said, "I have a membership site, #1 best-selling author, all the stuff that we've been trained to do over the last couple years." And she said, "Wow, we would love to have you." And I was like, as a matter of fact, we're going to put you on first. And I go, "Oh, crap." I guess I better act like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so put together a keynote presentation and used a little bit of another speech that I gave a few months earlier and went out there and people loved it. And so from that, I got invited to speak at another engagement in San Diego. It's for their Chamber of Commerce, for the Chamber of Commerce of San Diego, and some other invited guests, and the mayor is going to be there and some other people. So that's going to be a pretty big deal. That's coming up on the 17th. And then from there, I actually approached one of our friends and said, "Hey, I know you have this live event coming up. I would surely love to have an opportunity to speak on the stage." And he said yes. And so it's I guess the strategy or the movement in being on stage, there's got to be that you have to take that action. You have to look for the opportunities and then put yourself out there and be willing to say you're an expert. If you don't, there's no reason why they would have you on stage, right? Yeah. And so you have to have the gumption, you have to have something to offer, right? And so make sure you have that, because that's why I wanted to put the membership together first and then have that have all my #1 best-selling stuff out there. Yeah. And then actually follow through and actually do it. And then once you do that, now they recorded it. I paid $99 for a recording of the social media conference that I did. Yes. And so now I have that when somebody, says, "Hey, we're looking for speakers," I send them the link to that particular video and show them what it is that I do. So nice. There you go. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's an event down in San Diego I think you'll be at in December, and I was asked if I was going, and I said, yeah. First question out of my mouth to my coach, who asked me if I was coming to the event, was, "Yeah, you want me to speak?"
Yeah.
So it's like,
got to do it.
I asked. I haven't heard back yet, but you're never gonna get it if you don't ask.
Yep, you got to do it. You gotta put it out there, and that's the thing. I mean, if you are shy and if you're like him and I don't look good on camera, I don't like the sound of my voice and that kind of stuff, you're gonna have a really have a tough time getting started. Yeah. And so you have to. The fear is always the thing that's going to hold you back. The fear of failure, the fear of what your friends and family are going to say. Just know that a lot of your friends and family, because they love you, are going to tell you not to do it.
That's right.
And really, it's because they love you that they tell you that. And know that it seems weird. And you're going to go, "Hey, why do you say that? I can do this." But just know ahead of time that if they love you, they're probably going to say that don't put yourself out there because they don't want you to fail. But once you get past that, then you just got to get past the fear of speaking in public, which is always what they say. That's the #1 fear of most people, is speaking in public. And just, but you just, once I immerse myself in these subjects. So in dog training, I immersed myself for about 4 or 5 years in the subject of training dogs and people.
Right.
And so you just want to do that. Now, I don't take as much time. Well, obviously, Facebook Live came out, and the next day I already called myself an expert, and it had only been existing for maybe a week. But I immersed myself. I had some training in other areas on video and things like that. So it helped to be able to say that, and then you just pull it off, and then you just got to do it.
Excellent. So Alan Brown says, great advice. A few things. You got to have gumption, have something to offer, and follow through. Are 3 points that he makes about what we were just talking about. And for sure, I mean, I'm a very, yeah, that was, I think that was on mine. I'm a very proud introvert. So I look at a lot of people, and there's nobody. And it's so cliche to say, well, if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? Because I have more fears than a lot of people that aren't introverts, a lot of extroverts, but they still can't do it. So, you just basically have to get over whatever fear it is. It's all mindset anyway. You just get through that mindset piece. Actually, I am more comfortable talking on stage and talking in front of a camera than I am in a group of about 4 or 5 people. Funny as that is, I have no problem doing these shows or being interviewed on TV and or being on stage, doing a presentation on stage on a subject that I'm passionate about and have a great deal of knowledge about. I have no problem doing that. But get me in a group of 5 people, I probably won't say 3 words. Strange.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that feeling. It is a funny thing. I got the opportunity at Caesar's Palace to speak in front of nearly 800 people, but I was talking about dogs, and I had a dog there that I was demonstrating with, and everything went perfectly. And it just, sometimes, the excitement and the exhilaration that you get from doing stuff like that actually feeds into what it is you're doing. And so I found that was more exciting and so rewarding, but when you're talking to an individual, you're worried about what that one person thinks, I think, or it's weird, but I understand what you're saying, that one-on-one or one-on 4 or 5, that it's too close and too intimate, and that intimacy causes a little bit of nervousness. But on stage, it's like I'm talking to this just a big crowd of people, and for me, when I get the first laugh, because I like to be kind of humorous. Yeah. And once I get that first laugh, that gets it for me. If I can get them to laugh or applaud really early, then I'm okay after that. That the nervousness kind of goes away.
Excellent. Well, Andy, we're over time on my show, so I'm going to thank you for joining me. It was great having you on again, and I just want to thank you for being on the show. And it was great experiment that we managed to figure out, and my strategy, my show flow there was no show flow for today's show, unlike my normal show, but that's okay too sometimes. But thanks for being on the show. It was a great topic. Definitely look forward to catching up with you again in the near future. So again, I just want to thank you for being on the show, and for those watching, just stick around for a few minutes for my closing remarks.
All right. Well, thank you, John. It really was fun, kind of figuring this out and getting it done, and that we were able to pull it off. That I was able to even get you on camera, because again, I should have known that the view that you had would allow us to do this. But it's great. I love when we can do something just kind of on a whim, and we figure stuff out. It actually was very, very cool. So thank you for bringing it up this morning.
All right. Excellent. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Take care. All right.
Well, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step 1 to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach where being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now, just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now, it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint coaching program or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now, again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.